Here at Good Parenting today, we have Dr. Warren Seiler with us. He is a child and adolescent psychiatrist. The name of his book is Battling the Enemy Within, Conquering the Causes of Inner Struggle and Unhappiness. Thank you very much for being with us.
Appreciate you having me.
You know, this book is about a lot of things that help people, but I tune into it, of course, because of the parenting issues. And the PR pitch comes across, are you raising a narcissistic child?
Right.
And, you know, that's something I honestly, all the worries that I have about raising our kids, and I think a lot of us have, I've never thought, am I raising a narcissistic child? Now, maybe that means I'm doing real well, or maybe that means I'm blind and everybody's going, boy, that kid thinks of nothing but himself, and so does his dad, and that's where it comes from. I don't know. But, you know, we have so many different worries these days that we think about with our kids, and we worry about and we helicopter over. There are a lot of different things, and raising a narcissistic child is not one I've thought of before. Is this something that you're seeing in practice a lot, that you're worried about the kids of this generation?
Really, a tremendous amount, actually, at least as I define the word. Very quickly, Freud talked about narcissism first, and he got it from Greek mythology, Narcissus, who angered the gods, and they cast a spell on him, and the spell was that he fell in love with his reflection. All he could do all day and all night was to just admire himself.
Right.
And he began to die. And I often ask kids, why would he begin to die? And they get it right away pretty much, because he was starving to death. He had no other impulses. So Freud noticed there was a certain kind of preoccupation that, if carried to the extreme, would literally lead to the demise of the individual. And that's what he called narcissism. And I see it in so many kids today. The opposite of narcissism is empathy, in a sense. And that's what we really need to make sure our kids have. To tease somebody and bully somebody, that they have no empathy. The kids who do that.
Right.
And the essence of narcissism, in my experience, are children who are not getting various significant needs met as they grow, so that by the time they're into 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, they're so used to focusing on getting their needs met that the needs and feelings of others are non-existent to them when they are uncomfortable and suffering or stressed for whatever reason, and they're trying to stop that. They become oblivious to the feelings and needs of others.
But you write in the book that it's not because we would immediately think that it's parents who spoil their kids. They give them everything. These kids have nothing to worry about, but it's not that.
No, I think that's the least cause of narcissism. I think that there are so many kids, no matter what socioeconomic level we're talking about, that are neglected by parents who are basically good people, who feel great love for their children and who would walk in front of a bus and push the kid out the way. Okay, but you don't have to do that very often.
Right.
It's the day-to-day nurturance and spending time with, like your wife does as a homemaker, my wife did as a homemaker. That's one way to go about it. And every need is seen to. The kids are taught. There's so many lessons to teach.
You know, the interesting thing is, like, for my wife, she's home all day with all these kids. And
Right.
I was telling you off the air that just the other day she was sick. I stayed home all day, and I was ready to just drink by the end of the day. I couldn't believe how long of a day it really is.
Right.
And when you go to work, you have work all day, and then you're coming home to a second job is how I liken it. Now the second job starts.
Right.
But at least I'm going to two different jobs.
The second and most important job.
Right. But for the person who's staying at home, they never leave that job.
Right.
Even when you come home, now another person's on the line with you, but you're still putting together the widgets all day long, and you never get away from it. Patience, I think, is the thing. If it were in unlimited supply, parenting would be much easier.
No question. And not only that, but in order for the old stereotypical standard way to do things, where dad works and mother stays home, and an old mentor who's deceased now that helped train me always pointed out, he said there are three things that have to do with good mothering: the response of the child towards the mother at birth and whatnot, mother's mother, how good that went, and father's ability to mother, father's ability to truly appreciate, like you do, how tough a job this is. Right. You see, and to be able to to spend as much time together as you can, we went out once a week, like we go to church once a week, and over a drink or two, we would always talk about the kids.
You weren't drinking at church, though, right?
No, not in church.
Okay.
Not in church. But we would always talk about the kids. It's just that they weren't there.
Right, right.
So, it's a tough job.
All right, let me ask you this, because you were mentioning a little while ago about kids and empathy and talking about, our wives who have been there all day with the kids and how important that is. But the quantity of time is one thing, but you also write in the book about the quality of the time, because there are probably a lot of parents today who spend a lot of time with their children, but that doesn't mean they're raising empathetic children. That doesn't mean the kids are learning the right lessons. If we ourselves are not that way, then we're probably not passing that along to our kids, right?
That's absolutely correct. Like we talked about, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, unfortunately. So you have a lot of really good people out there who are really too narcissistic. People who are the evil people of the world, I think Scott Peck defined it well. They are malignantly narcissistic. Let's forget those folks. Let's just look at the basically good people who are too narcissistic. What happens is that whenever their ability to tolerate pain is exceeded, and to the degree they're narcissistic, they don't tolerate pain well, whatever the nature of the pain, to whatever degree it's exceeded, they quickly focus on solving that problem. And until they solve it and they're okay again, they're oblivious to the feelings and needs of others.
Right.
And when kids see that happen, when they see how we react, we can't start cursing out everybody that, that's upsetting us while we're driving. Even though we think that, and if we're in the car by ourselves, we can yell and scream all sorts of things that only we can hear. And maybe when the kids are in their 20s and beyond, they can tolerate us letting our hair down. But, you really got to be aware of every moment that you're with the child. You're an example to them, and they are going to be like you. We absorb the good and the bad.
Dr. Warren Seiler, the book is called Battling the Enemy Within, battlingtheenemywithin.com. For more information, find it online at Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and those places. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.